We continue now with part 3 of the supplement on the Buddha's concept of not-self, Anatman. Here we'll examine what the Buddha taught about the views that ascetics and brahmins held about the afterlife. This is a short section with an important conclusion given in the words of the Buddha. So far in our review of the Long Discourse, we've covered what the Buddha said about the assertions of ascetics and brahmins who claimed that the self was eternal or partially eternal, and we've discussed some of their fallacies and logic. After discussing several other topics, the Buddha picked up what ascetics and brahmins say about the self's fate after death. That's an important topic and can easily apply to beliefs of people from other faiths. He divided these beliefs into 3 categories. He identified 16 different views which people who believe that we are healthy and have perceptions after death. These are: the self has a material body, a form after death. The self is non-material or immaterial after death, having no physical form but still being experientially discernible. The self has both material and immaterial features. The self has neither material nor immaterial features, being barely discernible at all. The self is limited with the boundary. The self has no limit, it has no boundary. The self has both characteristics. The self has neither limit nor no limit. The self has a specific, limited consciousness. The self has varied forms of consciousness. The self has infinite consciousness. The self has a small range of consciousness. The self is always in a joyous state. The self is always in a suffering state. The self experiences both joy and suffering. The self experiences neither joy nor suffering. The Buddha then identified 8 beliefs among those who think that we are not conscious in the next world. Note the overlap with the previous group. He then listed 8 beliefs held by those who believe that we are healthy but have no perception after death, and those who believe that neither is the case, neti, as awareness is so attenuated it resists ordinary classification. To show how a belief can fit into each of the 3 categories, recall that form is one of the 5 aggregates and also refers to the belief that one has some sort of structured, subtle form after death. Subtle form can also refer to a belief that one experiences forms in the afterworld, somewhat like we experience them in our normal daily life. As those who hold that self is healthy after death and formless, this means that one thinks that self's experience after death is boundless and without features of form, existing in awareness without any content. Consciousness then would appear infinite. And those who hold that the self after death is both formed and formless believe that forms are not clearly present but neither fully absent. After these 32 beliefs, which the Buddha noted were held by some about the characteristics of the soul in the afterlife, the Buddha listed 7 grounds held by some ascetics and brahmins who preach that the self dies when the body dies. I'll summarize. The list starts with the simple belief that there is no separate self, just the body made up of the elements fire, water, earth, and air. Thus, when the body dies, that's the end of the story. There is a heavenly form sensual self, but it dies when the body dies. Not only does the heavenly form sensual self die, but the heavenly mind-made self also dies when the body dies. Not only does the sensual and mind-made self die, but the self attained by meditation that has gone beyond perception and lives in the dimension of infinite space, that also dies when the body dies. Beyond that, there's another self which is aware that consciousness is infinite and lives in the dimension of infinite consciousness. That too dies when the body dies. Beyond that, there is another self, aware that there is nothing at all. That too dies when the body dies. And beyond that, there is another self, aware that this is peaceful, this is sublime. That too dies when the body dies. The Buddha then listed 5 grounds on which people who believe that the refined or mental self is annihilated at death. That's 44 beliefs about what happens after death. As you'll see, the Buddha rejected all claims about otherworldly affairs made by ascetics and Brahmins. In the concluding section of the sermon, the Buddha explained why none of the 62 grounds for various beliefs, including the 44 beliefs about life after death, can be trusted. He spoke, "Now when those ascetics and Brahmins theorize about the first beginning and the final end of these 62 grounds, all of them experience this by repeated contact through the 6 fields of contact: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Their feeling is a condition for craving. Craving is a condition for grasping. Grasping is a condition for continued existence. Continued existence is a condition for rebirth. Rebirth is a condition for old age and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress to come to be." All of these ascetics and Brahmins who theorize about the first beginning or the final end are trapped in the net of these 62 grounds, so that wherever they emerge, they are caught and trapped in this very net. There are 3 important points here. The ascetics and Brahmins are theorizing. They're not speaking from certain knowledge. Their views come from conditioned phenomena arising dependently through what the Buddha called contact, the coming into consciousness of objects, both physical forms and mental forms, as perceived through the sense organs, including the mind. These are inherently limited experiences and cannot be accepted as evidence for or against a reality that lies beyond their experience. 2. Clinging to these views, whatever they are, only increases suffering. And 3, the Buddha never said that any of these theories are wrong. He just said they are speculations. The error ascetics and Brahmins make is not in finding or not finding a self in the afterlife, but in clinging to a view about a self. In the next section, we'll examine what the Buddha taught about the afterlife and if anything transfers into it.